Guys, welcome back to Jason Unleashed. Happy freaking Thursday. How's it going? I'm your host, Jason Carter. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Excited for today's show. You know, I say that every day, but I'm excited for all my shows. But today I'm extra excited because I have a super cool guy who's coming on. We know him as the host of American Ninja Warrior, but he's more than that. He's a doctor, he's a comedian, he's a motivational speaker, he is a cancer survivor, and he is someone who is just awesome. Awesome. I'm talking about Dr. Matt Iseman. You know him, we love him. He hosts so many things on television. I would run the list, but it would take all of today's episode to get through everything this guy has done because he's been killing the game for forever. But he's on today and I'm super excited. So yeah, Matt Iseman's here, American Ninja Warrior. The ANW Nation goes hard. If you guys have any questions, have any comments, you know the drill. There is a question box below. Drop them in there. We will get to them. We will answer them and all will be great. Boom, there you have it. Just waiting for Matt to send a request. Maybe he's already chimed in. Hey, Gabriel. Hi, everyone. Let's see. Boom. And also, I'm in a new location today. I'm in another part of my house. So if there's an echo, I'm sorry. Carpet does not exist in this house, in this space. But there is a huge pool table for your viewing pleasure right behind me. So you guys can imagine playing pool in my house if you like. Because I've only played pool on it once, and I've lived here over a year. Boom, boom. All right, he's going to send a request in a few. Boss committee. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Let me just start waving at people. Boom. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to wave, but I can't because my phone's not trying to be friends. All right. Oh, you know what? I won't wave. Let's just bring Matt in. Here he is, guys. Stand by. Let's go live with Matt. Iseman. You like that, don't you?
Boom, boom, boom. That was some good music. I was sitting here struggling just to log on. I swear, I do this every morning myself on Instagram Live, and I still struggle with it, Jason.
It's okay. You're one of like 30 people who this is new for us, Matt. This is the new normal, so it takes a while for us to adjust to it. But it's good to see you.
It absolutely does. Likewise, Bo. Your house is gorgeous. Look at the pool table you've got there.
Let me give you a little tour, Matt, real quick. I don't know if this is
kidding me?
A 9-foot pool table or not, but I've only played it pool on this table, babe, like twice, right? Twice. But you know, it's just a pool table. It's just a small little pool table.
Yeah, a pool table at a bar with a gorgeous view and sunshine shining in. I'm in my office, and all I've got behind me are more photos of me.
As you should.
Thank you, Jason. You get it.
I totally get it. Matt, good to see you. Congratulations on everything. American Ninja Warrior, Emmy nominated. The fans are diehard. I talked to Zuri last week. I had Zuri Hall on the show. We love Zuri.
I adore Zuri. She is, and she, you know, American Ninja Warrior is like the least thing she does. That woman, what is it, Alpha Babe, Boss Babe? She's got where she's talking to people. You're around her. Her energy is infectious. And
infectious.
I'm so lucky to be surrounded, you know, not just by the host, but of course the ninjas. Where, although I'll be honest, sometimes they're a little rude with how fit they are, Jason. You guys stop it.
Well, listen.
Cheeseburgers.
I know. Well, you made bacon sandwiches this morning, so I mean, they're culprits in the food. But who can say no to bacon? Bacon's that first bite, Matt, is like, wow, this is sinful.
Even before the first bite, the smell and the sounds of cooking bacon. I started cooking during quarantine. It's been one of the things that I never thought I would be cooking. I was almost about to say a chef. Let's not get dramatic. But for me, it's been remarkable to cook for myself and to see how despite eating bacon virtually every morning, how much healthier I've gotten.
Yeah.
When you cook for yourself, just how much more aware you are of what you're putting into your body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fun. And of course, I'll get on every morning and do these mornings with Matt. And people are like, oh, that's why do you do it? I go, because attention is like oxygen for me. And during quarantine, Jason, it was just, I was so lonely. I'm quarantining. I'm by myself, and Zoom is wonderful. But I just to be able to interact with people and to have an audience it's something that every morning people are like, why are you so energetic? I'm like, I wasn't until the camera came on.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Same.
I
Same.
know.
I get it. I get it. But so mornings with Matt, and I understand why you're cooking healthier, because every day you create something different that looks yummy and delicious every single morning. Be it a vegetarian dish, a southern dish. When you decided to do this show, what was that moment where you said, you know what, I need, besides being lonely in quarantine,
Yeah.
what was the impetus to be like, I'm gonna cook for people on Instagram and not feed them, because it's unfair that you cook and we can't eat it. But what made you want to go on that journey?
So this all started, at the beginning of quarantine. I think so many of us were just unsure of what to do. And I know, we were due to start American Ninja, where I imagine Zuri told you the story. We were ready to go the next day. That was like March 12th, when the dominoes started to fall. And it went in a matter of hours. It went from, we're going tomorrow, to, well, let's hold on. Then we're going to do it, but we're not going to have an audience, to, I don't think we're going to do it, to, it's postponed, the entire season's on hold. And that was in the span of a few hours. And my reaction was to sit in bed and play PlayStation 4. And after about 10 days of just kind of waiting for something to happen, I realized I don't know when something's going to happen. And so I unplugged my PlayStation 4, and then the cooking started. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I was in the hospital getting my infusion. And I'm just kind of scrolling through the internet, passing the time, and a masterclass popped up. One of those ads, they're ubiquitous, but it was for Gordon Ramsay. And I just the way they had like a 30-second teaser. And his passion grabbed me.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've never really cooked. I did a steak occasionally, but I was traveling nonstop before this. I was living on a plane, so I was eating at hotels, eating out, takeout, and so I never imagined I'd cook. But I thought, I'm just going to watch this because he's so entertaining. After about 2 hours of watching his videos, on the way home from my infusion, I stopped at the store. I cooked chicken suprema. Like, I pan fried it. I was putting in herbs and thyme, and threw it in the oven to finish it off. I had potatoes. And I sat there eating this meal that was delicious and was healthier than what I would have ordered in takeout. But the satisfaction of going, oh, it's not really rocket science.
Right.
And it really was the passion of Gordon Ramsay who made me believe I could do it, and then realize, okay, it's not that hard. And then I think it was the next day, I just started going on Instagram. And what it was also accountability for me, because I started to see that I was lacking structure, and I realized so much of the structure of my life was external through work, where my life was kind of not my own, so I didn't have to think about it. Right. And I was in this situation during quarantine, and I realized not only did I need attention, but I also thought I need something to hold me accountable, so I don't just, go weeks with accomplishing nothing. And so I just kind of committed to, I'm going to do this tomorrow morning, and then I'll do it the next morning. And I was doing it randomly, and then it came to me, I'm going to do it at 8:30 Pacific time every morning.
That's how it happens.
Through Monday through Friday. And it's one of those things where there are times I wake up at 8:05 and I go to the kitchen and I just look in the fridge. I go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll go online, try to find a recipe. And I always try to like have a song. And to me, I thought I'd have to plan and do all these recipes. And I look at so many people who do these wonderful videos that they edit, that they shoot. And I thought, I don't want to do any of that.
Right.
I just want to be able to, and that's why I love going live, because there's an energy when people are watching, and that it's like, hey, whatever goes, right or wrong, you got to roll with it.
Yeah, it's live TV.
It is, and the more I did it, the more I loved it. And I was doing Live Rescue, which was a live show. I love the energy of live. I love that sense of you're operating without a net, and somebody could be talking to you and they're not saying anything, and the camera comes to you, you're like, Phil. And I've watched you have that same energy where you're ready for anything, and to me it's energizing.
It is. There's a rush of adrenaline that comes with that.
And it's been something I get up and
oh, you froze. Matt, you're there. Wait, you froze. Matt, you're back. Are you back?
Am I back?
You're back. You're back.
I just upgraded my internet too, Jason. This is not supposed to happen.
It was probably me, but you're right about that energy though.
Yeah.
You're right about that energy though.
And it's one of those things I think that's been so fun for me is every morning there are a few people who jump on, and it's starting to be these kind of crew who jump on, and we have a conversation there in the chats, and to me it's so much fun knowing people are taking the time out of their day to watch a little bit of this. And for me it's it's not that I think I'm going to have a cooking show. It's not that I necessarily want these to go viral. I wouldn't complain about it. But for me, it really is just some accountability of giving me some structure. And it's been so fun cooking and challenging myself and doing things. I had a chance to go home to Denver to check in on my parents. I stayed with my brother and his wife and my niece. And I got up, I was there a couple more, and I cooked for them. And my brother was like, I can't believe I'm seeing you.
Right. You're like, who is this?
I know that I cook, I cleaned, and I know people are watching this going, oh my God, that is the most basic thing. But I really was kind of a mama's boy, and it was so fun for me. And my niece, who's 7 and full of sass, was like, I rate your avocado toast very high, Uncle Matt. She gave me 90 points. And it was just, it's been so fun for me to, acquire these basic life skills. But for me to, in this time of quarantine, in this time of uncertainty, in this time of unrest, when so much feels unstable, to try to have something where you feel you're making yourself better and you're doing something that you feel is improving your quality of life. And I think when structure, when certainty is kind of taken away from us, it's really important to try to find things that can ground you and that can, every day when you're like, I don't know what to do, I'm like, well, at least I know I got to get some ingredients for breakfast. At least I know I'm going to do this.
Yes.
And it's been really important for me to have that, and to have some of the friendships, these improbable friendships that have struck up from this cooking show, and people who, we chat with on DMs now. And it's really fun because, on TV, so much of what we do, particularly with Ninja, you shoot it and, it can take weeks or months until people see it. But to do something live and to be able to have this immediate interaction it's so engaging that it really gives me energy. And it's really been one of the highlights of quarantine, kind of developing this skill and just having something to do wearing sweatshirts and pajamas while I do it.
I agree with you when everything you're saying about look, at least throughout the course of the day you don't know what you're going to do, but in this time frame you're going to do this, and it's creative, and we're kindred souls and that energy and connecting with people. And you said this isn't a cooking show, but Matt, you have hosted, as I said in the intro, I would have to take like a whole 30 minutes just to run the list of everything you have hosted, from lifestyle shows to you being a headlining comedian for over 10 years now, to action shows. So you mentioned Live Rescue, which, by the way, is that coming back or has that been wrapped?
Well, there are things in the works.
Got it.
It's been tough, but I'm optimistic that people will see it again soon.
So a cooking show isn't that far off from you, Matt. Isn't that far off?
It's one of those things where know what you're good at. And when I watch Gordon Ramsay and these chefs, they make it look so effortless. And I know sometimes I use the wrong end of a knife. I mean, whatever it is, but it's been so much fun to also realize when you put yourself out there and you put yourself in a position to show your vulnerabilities and to show to show the lack of skill sometimes. It's been amazing how many people reach out. And I have chefs who will, offer little tips on things, ways to defrost, whatever it is, just little things. But it's this amazing connection where you see how many people love to help and share what they know and share. And especially when you see someone is really earnestly trying to learn, because it is one of those things like, when you've done something and you feel you're good at it and you see someone where you recognize a spark, or I think what it comes down to a lot of times is you see yourself in someone and you want to help. And I think for a lot of these chefs, they maybe realize what it was like when they start to discover their passion for food. And it's really been fun for me connecting with that, because one of the things I think that I like to think that has been pretty consistent in everything I've done has been a passion and enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was one of the things like I recognized in you and Zuri and Akbar and so many of the ninjas that I respond to is when someone's passionate about something. And that's really what grabbed me with Gordon Ramsay was you see him on Hell's Kitchen and all the anger and the vitriol that is amusing and uncomfortable. But at his core, he is so passionate about cooking that it's impossible not to be impacted by it. And that's where I will listen to somebody talk about something I have no interest in. If they're truly passionate, they will make me interested in it. And that's one of the things that I look for in life, and that I'm trying to, I make an effort to try to surround myself with those people, because I would rather have somebody who's maybe not as good, but is so passionate about it, where you feel they're going to learn, they're going to work. And even if not, their passion will support you with that energy.
Mm-hmm.
I love being surrounded by passionate people, because there are times when your energy flags, or when you don't, when you just want to say, I want to take the day off. But it's great to have people around you who, some people, like your smile is infectious, and you're always smiling.
Well, thanks, Matt.
No, but it's really one of those, like, I love when you come on, because we all have seen people who turn it on and you're just like, that's not real. They're just smiling, but there's nothing behind it. And then there are other people where you feel like, oh my God, whether the camera's on or not, this is who that person is. And that's, for me, it's been really fun to connect with people on this, and to, to see how many people I've reached out to, or how many podcasts I've been able to jump on and talk. And it's so fun just when you find someone who's really passionate about something, you're like, it brightens your day. And when you leave, the rest of the day, you're like, that energy carries with you. And that's one of the things that I hope people take from my show in the morning is, maybe they think he's an awful chef, he can't sing, but at least they'll be like, but that passion will hopefully brighten their day, and it's a good way to start the morning.
But in addition to that, it's because I watch them daily. It's because we're seeing someone who is like this super masculine, just like superhero guy, be goofy and cook and sing off key and just really enjoy like his best life in his kitchen. And it's so irreverent and fun and authentic. And I think people really don't know that that's what they need in their lives until they see it. Like, oh my gosh, thank you for this content universe. Thank you for this. Thank you for this COVID miracle. But passion is something that you are so passionate about. And we got to see you really bring that to the LGBTQ plus community and Celebrity Drag Race. I was there that day when you shot Betty Bordeaux. Your experience on Drag Race, because anyone who sashays into the workroom always has a different interpretation of what Drag Race is. What was it like for you?
So I've been in LA for so long and have been around the LGBT community and have had drag experiences. It first started this home makeover show, Clean House. We did a drag DJ, and so we had a drag queen yard sale. It was the first time I did drag, and I was in high heels for 4 hours, and my feet were a mess after.
I know, yeah.
But one of the things, I've done stand-up forever, and so much, a lot of times we were in West Hollywood. But one of the things that I loved about the drag community is I have never, in all my time in entertainment, seen entertainers who are as passionate and as fierce and command the stage the way drag queens do. And what I love about it is, Rue says you become who you are. And I think for so many people, not just in the LGBT community, but so many people don't lead the life of their dreams.
Right.
Because we judge ourselves, we hold ourselves back. And I what I see with so many of these drag queens is they go into drag to become who they always imagined. And, Kim Chi was my queen supreme in that. And Kim Chi's story was unbelievable. Kim goes on when Kim went on for the first time, not only did his mom not know he was in drag, didn't know he was gay. And to have this thing where Kim comes out as who he really is, and to dress up in this amazing costume to become who he is, and to just see how, and Kim's
Fierce.
Fierce, and also you don't want to get on Kim.
I know.
Kim is shady.
The shadiest queen. The
And
shadiest.
it's so much fun for me as someone who loves to perform and who loves to be goofy and try to be authentic, to see these people and Nina and Bob, to be surrounded by all of them. And then to have Alex Newell and Dustin Milligan come on, who are on their own journeys, and to have all of us come together. It was the six of us, the queens, and those of us going through it. I felt like it was such a special environment, and for me too. I also knew this really isn't my world to come into, and so I also know. I've worked with Alaska 5000, I will say, Alaska Thunder before, and so many things, but I also know that they're very protective.
Right.
And so when I had the opportunity to come on, I was a bit nervous of, I didn't want it to feel as though I'm coming in to, dip my whatever. My goal was to come in and throw myself into it and hope that they would, because I didn't know if they would have their guards up, but instead I found the queens were so welcoming, and it was so fun. And I've gotten to know Rue over the years, just kind of running in the same circles. And RuPaul is like Gordon Ramsay in the sense of there aren't many people who can carry a show with their personalities. Because so many, like American Ninja Warrior is an amazing show, and as wonderful as I think I am as a host, someone else, that show would still be a hit because that show is so. But RuPaul, they're imagining the show without RuPaul as at the helm, it's impossible because Ru has been so fierce and such a trail. And that was what struck me, is what a trailblazer Ru has been in the LGBT community for decades. By being ferociously who Ru is, and making space for all of them and carving it out. And to me, I look at the power of television to bring things mainstream, where so many people will watch RuPaul's Drag Race not knowing anything about drag queens, but because it's such an entertaining show, and all of a sudden you start to see not as them but as people. Right. And to me, it was so awesome to get to step into a show that I think is truly been important, but it's still entertaining as hell. It was so much fun to get to go on that show and to become a drag queen. And it was, when you get the makeup on, over 2 hours, a team working on me. A team. And Lord knows.
It takes a village, Matt. It takes a village for everybody.
But to see, when I turn into the mirror and you just see this different person, and then, for the most nervous I was going into the roast, because I've done stand-up for 20 plus years, but I suck at roast. I'm terrible at it. And the other part, but what made it even more nervous was I'd never spoken as Betty. And that, to me, that's, what's your voice?
Exactly.
I don't know. And, I didn't know to do a campy voice. I literally, when I went out there, that was the first time I spoke as Betty, and I didn't know kind of what the tone was going to be. And I'm nervous to try to make it feel that I'm taking this seriously and having fun. And the roast was so much fun. It was so much fun because everybody did well. And everybody was slamming on everyone, but you felt at the end of the day, everybody had respect and love. And that's why I think so many of these roasts you watch, you just see people saying the cruelest things to people you don't feel there's a connection. And with this roast, I felt there was so much shade, but everyone was laughing. And it was just everyone coming together. And I felt at the end of that, we all just exhaled. And then, to hear some of the judges, and Ross, who I've known for years, that when he talked about, Matt, you look like every person who made my life hell. And to see you come in and embrace this was great. And to hear something like that, I do so many goofy, unimportant things. And to get to do something like this where, there's maybe some person out there who doesn't know how they're feeling or how these feelings are, but they see this show and they're like, there's space for me. Right. And to feel like you're a part of spreading that message out is awesome.
And
And that's what that show does, but it never feels preachy because it's so entertaining and fun. And that's, I think it's just an incredible show.
well, and then that's the beauty of Drag Race is because it's like people ask me, tell me about what your experience is. And I say Drag Race is this bag of Skittles. It's yummy, fruity, delicious, a fun party. Seriously, you crack it, you don't know what flavor you're going to get on any episode, but it's always going to be good. And you're very right, Matt, that before I got on the show, Matt, I had never seen an episode of Drag Race, never. And my older brother, who was a Marine, was like, you have to see this show. It's so cool. And then so it transcends not only the LGBTQ plus community, but cisgender, straight, heteronormative communities, people, that you can take something away from it. And you won for your charity. You won for the Arthritis Foundation.
What? Can you see the Scepter over there?
I can see the Scepter, which, by the way, is that a quality Scepter? Do they cut costs do they cut corners on the Scepter?
No, but this thing feels like if somebody broke into my house, Jason, I would grab this. It is, let me see, it's made by Fierce Jewels. So
perfect.
They make all of the
right. Okay,
jewelry
great.
we got to wear. But this thing is solid, and literally, I remember we got it, and that was the first time in herstory that the three people won. They didn't have three scepters. So I think one of the other queens had theirs, so they pull them out, and they're like, you got to give these back. I'm like, but I want to get one. They're like, we're going to mail it to you. I'm like, really? Because otherwise I'm walking out with this.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's such, I am so sentimental. And what's really been fun is throughout my career of just collecting these little, like, so this was the letter I got asking me to come on Celebrity Apprentice. And I love having these little touchstones that, when you kind of pick them up, it's like, oh yeah, this takes me right back to those moments. And I'm very nostalgic. I live in the whole house is not like this, but this is my office. But I love having these things around.
It's okay. Well, look, you have these accolades and these mementos because your career has taken you so many different places. And like I said, you've hosted so many things. I was like, okay, where do I begin? Do I talk about Factionator? What do I talk about? Because you have lent your hand and your talent to everything from Home and Family to Cop Show. I mean, just so much. But what people don't
clean house.
Clean house. You've done stuff for sports. I mean, you name it, every genre. The Matt Iseman magic too, but what people don't know is that you're a doctor, you're a physician, Princeton, Columbia grad. Your dad's a pulmonologist. You come from like this medical pedigree, and you infuse that into your comedy because you didn't want to do comedy that was attacking people. A lot of your comedy was observational, right?
Yeah, it's more, if anyone's made fun of, it's me, and that really started where. And when I was getting into comedy, it was a little more biting. Comedy goes through phases, and it was at a time where there was a little more biting, a little more negative. And I'm just like, I like, again with roasts, I just struggle with it unless it's, I can bust balls with my friends all day long, but to go up to somebody who maybe, like, I did the roast of Dennis Rodman for the Friars Club, and I was so nervous and I bombed, and it was just so awkward for me to go up there because I was talking about people who I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And my concern was, like, no matter how funny the joke was, I wanted to go, I don't mean that. I'm sorry, I don't mean that. And so for me, I just love, the thing I love about comedy is I want people to leave feeling better than they came in. But for me, that was one of the things why I do the mornings with Matt is I love stand-up because I don't care how tired I am. I don't care if I'm feeling sick. I don't care if I'm sad. When I walk on stage, the second I grab the mic, it all goes away. And what stand-up makes me do is be present. Yeah. And I think, as I'm staring at my phone, the bane of my existence, these things that constantly distract us, these things that pull us away from being present, these, social media, or these things where you're like, what is really important? And you get inundated in these things. It's such a gift to have something that makes you present. Mm-hmm. And for me, when I go on stage, because with stand-up, you have to be focused. You have to be there, and you see everything. And I liken it to, I remember Michael Jordan said when he was in the zone, the rim would get huge. And when you're on stage and you're on your game and things are going well, it's like it's in slow motion. Your
It
mind,
is.
it feels like it's going so fast, and you're telling a joke and you're reliving it while you're noticing something in the crowd, and you're thinking of wait, I can call this back. And it's, to me, it's, my mind feels like Neo. It just feels like in the Matrix when you see everything, just how it fits together. And it's such an energizing feeling. So I really missed being able to go on stage and perform. So I think that's one of the things that Mornings with Matt has allowed me to feel somewhat, was just this sense of be present. Because right now, especially, there are so many things competing for our attention, and so many things that are serious, and we are living through, this is a moment with
It is a moment.
our awakening of racial issues and the pandemic and everything that's going on. We're going to look at 2020 as, I mean, this is, in my lifetime, I can't recall anything this momentous.
Same.
To be going through it, though, at times it can be it's so emotional and intense. And I think it's really, it's a gift to be able to periodically just ground yourself and be present, and just kind of try to remember what's important as we go through this. And it's exciting that I think we get to live through history, because I think we're going to look back on 2020 as such an important year for the world, and certainly for our country. And it's really cool to get to be, we know, sometimes you don't know you're living through history. We know this is a moment.
It is a moment. Real quick, want to say what's up to all your fans. Lynn, Marcus is saying hello.
Yeah.
So many friends. You mentioned Energize,
Courtney!
and so many great people. Court, Bolaro, everyone. We see you. Thanks for watching. Matt, wanted to ask you though, because you mentioned Energized, and we're in an unprecedented time. The American Ninja Warrior Nation, they're galvanized and energized, and they're very active on social media. I'm sure they talk to you, they reach out to you. What have been some of the conversations with the nation that you've been able to have in regards to what's happening?
What's been awesome is J.J. Woods and Sean Darling Hammond, who's been discussing, he's multiracial. His wife is as well. His kids. He's a lawyer, human rights advocate, and he's really been leading some great discussions. J.J. Woods has too. And what I love about it is, as is typical with the ninja community, it really is this inclusive place where it's okay to not know. It's okay to ask questions, and to have these conversations on race and ways to be an ally and ways to be more informed has been awesome. And I it's been such a great time to see these ninjas taking the lead, and all the ninjas forming a community. And we've had some amazing BLM artwork that somebody created with so many of the ninjas together. And the thing I love about Ninja Warrior is so many people watch it, and you see a competitive show. You see a show where it seems people are competing against each other. But very early on, we learned the only person they're competing against is themselves, to try to be a better version. And once with that realization, these people can be on the course cheering for each other, even if it means they don't advance, because it's not about who goes. It's about going farther together. And to see these conversations going on, and to see everyone coming together to make sure that the ninja community is inclusive for everyone, from all races, from all genders, from all orientations, and where the ninja community has really been inclusive from the beginning, and making a point to say this is who we are, and to feel like, again, this is led by one of the things about the show we learned early on is to listen to the ninjas, to listen to the way they lead this, because they really have a sense of this community. And I think the best thing we've done on the show is to listen to that and to just try to tell these stories. So I'm excited for whenever we get to do season 12, which is hopefully soon. It's going to be unlike any other season. We're not going to have a crowd. We don't exactly know how it's going to happen. We hope it's going to happen, but to know this is going to be different. But I think that the thing that will be the same is that spirit, and that these people are coming together. And I'm excited to hear the stories and the different ways people have been impacted and active. And it's at a certain point, I used to say, oh, I feel like the dad, and now you're kind of like, I'm more the just watching everyone grow on their own, and I'm kind of like, well, pull me along.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's you mentioned spirit, and I think that's one of the reasons why people love the show and are so dedicated. It's much like football. American Ninja Warrior is
Yeah.
like football. Those people will they have viewing parties, they have a whole chats, they have fan club. It's a thing. But as you said, running theme is a spirit, and that spirit of inclusivity and a community. And I think now more than ever we're looking for that. But you yourself have this spirit because Matt, and people look, people have just said the love for this guy is so real. He's so pure. I mean, people would dig a masterclass from you, Matt. Want to say hello to Yummy Cupcake?
And listen, here's the thing: is I'm like all of us, a work in progress. You're always learning, and I think it's that has been it's as you look at the quarantine. To me, it's been the silver lining is. This has been a time to slow down, a time I never would have taken because
you didn't have a choice, right?
He was going nonstop. I was traveling and I was leaning into it and going faster and faster. And to have an opportunity where with this, you really had to slow down and start to say, well, what is important in my life? Who is important in my life? So I think that's, been something that, was a reminder I needed. I don't think I was leading the healthiest life. I don't think I was really taking care of myself in the way or figuring out what was important to me. And so it's something that I continue to struggle with is trying to prioritize life and to realize, I don't know when, but hopefully things will come back to some sense of normalcy and to make sure that some of the lessons we're learning now
stick.
That they stick.
Well, it's just that, and thank you for being so open about that because I think, those are conversations I've had with people, but the way you articulate it is so on the money because people don't want to admit that they were moving too fast or don't want to admit that they weren't living the healthiest lifestyle, and especially in this business where it's go, 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 because we're trying to capture and secure opportunities and stay as creative people who like the limelight, kindred souls here. We know you're always on your hustle. You're always on moving. RuPaul says you're always looking for your next job on your current job, right?
Yeah.
So, but we've been forced to pause hard with COVID. And you mentioned your health. You have opened up and talked about your battle with cancer, your rheumatoid arthritis, and talking about those things to your audience, to your fans, to your people. How has that healed you? How has that enriched your life?
Yeah, well, for me, I'm a doctor. And to end up on the other side of the stethoscope was really humbling and illuminating because you think you're relating to somebody. And for me, so when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, it was 2002. I was around 30, and it had been about a year and a half where my life was falling apart, and I was going to doctors. I was trying to figure it out as I started to have swelling. I started to have joint pain. I was having stiffness. My energy was low. I was gaining weight. I couldn't work out. So many things were going wrong, and nobody could give me answers. And I looking back, I was probably depressed. And my life was going away. And when I got the diagnosis, it was a relief. And this is a chronic autoimmune disease, and there's no cure. But it was just a relief to say, I have an answer. I have an answer for what was plaguing me. Now, again, I've studied rheumatoid arthritis. And when I was diagnosed, I realized I didn't know anyone who had it. Of course I did, but I didn't know overtly. Nobody had shared it. And when you look up a disease, you see the textbook case, which is very often a worst case scenario. People who illustrate the hands distorted, the bodies crippled. And I thought,
you're back.
Oh,
yeah.
Did it freeze again? Okay, I'm sorry. I was just saying how it's really scary when you're diagnosed.
No, you're back.
You look up a disease and you see the worst case scenario, and to not know anyone who had it. And rheumatoid arthritis tends to affect women, and typically women in their 50s. I didn't know young guys who had it, and I thought I don't want this to be the case for anyone else. So I immediately became very open about sharing my story, and I was hoping that for people who were newly diagnosed, because I responded to treatment. I got my life back. And I was active, I was working. And I wanted people who were diagnosed to not feel it was some sort of sentence, but to feel like, look, you might live with rheumatoid arthritis, but you can lead a full life. It's been a great opportunity to share my story. And, when I was on Celebrity Apprentice, I won nearly $1 million for the Arthritis Foundation, but more importantly, I got to share my story. And when I did, people came up to me saying, I had rheumatoid arthritis. I didn't know, can I talk to you about it? And to have a community then of people who I'd met and to share these stories, because you can talk to someone who has all the answers, but they don't know what you're going through. And when you're facing something, you want to talk to somebody who's experienced it. And so that's why it's been important for me to share some of my health struggles, just to let people know, like, you're not alone. And I don't think when people look at me, I have a chronic disease. And I want that to be the case. I want people to think, oh, okay, you can have rheumatoid arthritis and go on drag race and walk in high heels and be fierce. And again, like, I got to share the story there again. And it's so fun to get to go on these shows, have a blast, but raise awareness, and they donated money to the charity as well, to feel like, hey, you're getting to make a little bit of a difference here too. And we're all going to face something or know someone who faces something. And when you do, it's so awesome to be able to point to people who are going through it and to reach out and say, hey, what can I expect?
Exactly. And you make a good point about it's about walking a mile in someone's shoes. Yeah, someone can imagine what you're going through and offer textbook explanations and well-researched conclusions, but to authentically and in real life and realistically give you an account of that, they have to experience. It's just common sense. So, but people don't seem to get that. People will, it's just like being depressed. Telling someone to get over it. If you've ever been depressed before, you just can't tell someone to just get over it. It's not that simple. It's not that simple or that easy.
And I think a lot of people are afraid that if they admit some of their problems, they'll be seen as weak. And instead, I think you're human, because everybody has something, whether it's an ailment, whether it's mental, whatever it is. Everyone's dealing with something. And I think when you share it, it starts to lose its power over you. And when you can make connections with it, all of a sudden you realize, man, I'm not alone here with this. Even though so often I think we feel alone and we isolate. And I think, particularly now when physically we often are alone, it's so important to reach out and just, people are checking in on me. I'm trying to check in on people. And, a lot of times you're like, hey, I'm good. But sometimes you're not. And you're even just, when you see it, you don't even have to reply. Just knowing, hey, man, someone cares. It's like, it makes your day a little better.
It does. The sky's the limit for you though, Matt. So you have Mornings with Matt, which, by the way, I have a song request for tomorrow. I would like a little Spandau Ballet, True. If you can. Yes.
Okay, I gotta figure out what I can make that will go in with that, Jason.
You can make a frittata. How about that? But
spoiler alert, folks! Tomorrow, Spandau Ballet and a frittata.
But you've done so much and have conquered so many things. Emmy nominated. You're a doctor. You come from an amazing family. You're from Denver, Colorado. All these wonderful, cool, loving, delicious things. What does Matt see himself doing that you haven't done already? Outside of entertainment, even.
Question. I think one of the things would be having a family. I've never been married. I don't have kids, and I think having a family is something that would be, that's the great frontier. And to me, that's the ultimate journey of life. And listen, I am the first to admit I've led a very immature and, entertainment is kind of by nature a very self-centered profession where, you focus on yourself and your career a lot. I think having a family, I think for me, all of this has reminded me, and I've been talking a lot with my dad, who's been having some health struggles, and who has been the biggest figure in my life, just a larger than life man, and seeing him struggle with health, it's been hard. And as I talked to him, I said, what do you want? What do you want? And he said, I just want to have some more memories.
Got it.
I just want to have time with my family. He's like, whatever it is. And I just thought, yeah, that's, is because, again, you very often, I very often get caught up in my career and what the show is doing or where you're going next. And sometimes I think you take for granted your family and friends, and you'll pass up some opportunities that, you in hindsight, it's wonderful. I'm so lucky to have the career I have. And I think I've worked pretty hard to have it and to tend to it. And I've also tried to really balance it. My friends and my family are important to me, and to try to make time. And so I think, going forward, I think it is just, I'm turning 50 next year. And my buddies and I are talking about a part, and who knows what the world will be like, but it's really cherishing. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when we'll be able to see each other again. So I think even for us, it's been making plans has been so much fun, talking about what we might do, but making sure we get to do it. And I think that again, that's been one of the gifts of this forced slowing down, is to try to connect and to just, and it's made me miss seeing people in person. Yeah. And when I went home, it's just different. There's a different energy. It's wonderful to Zoom or Skype, but when you see someone in person, there's just a different energy. And so trying to do that as much as possible. I think, I don't know. I guess my family and friends, maybe my own family, that would be the next great adventure. But until then, frittatas with Spandau Ballet.
We'll take it, but beautifully said though, Matt. And you make, every time I have these awesome, really cool, in-depth conversations with people such as yourself, I walk away feeling like I've been fortunate enough to have been in the presence of people who have enlightened me and have illuminated things I've needed to see and have really made me think, So thank you for that, because you are right. You are right. Zooms are great. This is great, but hugging and a real connection with people in real time is irreplaceable and it's becoming non-negotiable. So
yeah, and I think this has made us appreciate it when you can't do it.
Right.
So
yeah. Matt Iseman, it has been an honor and a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you, Jason.
Huge fan. Again, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being part of the RuPaul's Drag Race family. American Ninja Warrior, hopefully you guys are back. Yes, hold on to that scepter. It's made by Fierce Drag Jewels. That's fiercedragjewels.com. Hopefully we'll get season 12 of Ninja soon.
Yes.
Okay, great. We have Mornings with Matt Monday through Friday.
Yes.
On your Instagram.
And now they know what's coming tomorrow morning.
Hey, you can look, that could be on the docket for surprise us with the frittata. But
because I'll be honest, every morning I wake up going, what am I going to do? Now I know.
I would love,
Matt,
I would love for you just to pull a bowl of cereal. Today you guys get honey bunches of oats.
I did do a smoothie the other morning because I was like, I'm late. I had to go someplace for work, and it was a smoothie. But again, it's the only reason I don't do that is just because I just appreciate people. Although it's not like they ever, I can't imagine anybody's actually looking to me for recipes. So maybe pouring a bowl of cereal would be a relief for them.
You never know, Matt. Stranger things have happened. But look, you get on with your day. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you soon, man. No problem. Take care, buddy.
You too. Bye.